third thing is
Still a marketing issue.
we have a marketing issue.
We have a lot of enthusiasm for our marketing.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. About 6 months ago, oh, actually, it's been longer than that. About a year ago, we started talking about, we were trying to invigorate the chamber and thinking about what can we do to promote White Center and assist White Center. And so we took on a number of projects. And one of them was to think about how we can better market the businesses that are here and better promote the area. And we looked at some printed publications. We had an outline a year ago of possible content for a website. We looked at a whole variety of options that are out there for promoting the businesses. And a couple of criteria came out in the conversations that we had. One of them was we wanted to make sure that whatever effort we do, that every business owner in White Center has an opportunity to tell their story and to share their story. The idea was, you don't even have to be a chamber member. You just have, you're an important part of our community story. We want to make sure that whatever effort we do shares your story with everyone. And so that was the concept that has driven this, and that is the philosophy behind it. As a result of that, we started looking around. The board got together and allocated some money to redo a website. Our old website was outdated, and that's another story. And we decided we wanted to redevelop our website and make it state-of-the-art and use the beautiful art that's out there and the artists that are out there in the community and all this great energy that's out there. We worked with the CDA, which we partnered with on a number of projects, and wrote into a grant proposal that they had submitted that we would use some funds. We would match it with some chamber funds, and we would use these funds to develop an extraordinary website that would be open to all businesses in White Center. So that's the conversation that started. And that's the intent behind the project that we're working on. The idea was always to include everybody, and to try to figure out how to present this community, the diversity and complexity of this community, out to the rest of the world. Based on that, we got this grant, which kind of shocked us, but we got some money and had some money to work with. The chamber put in its $3,000, and we have some other funds as well. We combined it all, and we put out there that we needed a committee be the advisory committee to help put together this website. As you know, any volunteer organization is always driven by a few people doing the work. And we asked some chamber members to participate. We asked everybody to participate. And we had some folks that carry quite a load in White Center already say that they wanted to step up and be involved in the conversation. And they all got together. I think they meet. I'm going to have Brittany come up here in a minute and give a report on the committee. They all meet, I think, every week or two. And they have begun developing kind of the content and strategy for this. And Brittany, if you don't know, is an incredible White Center business owner and spectacular person. She's been involved in a number of our community leadership efforts in White Center. And she owns, why don't you tell us who you are and where you're from and your business.
My name is Brittany. I own the Seattle Silk Screening Company over on 16th and Roxbury. We are a small family business. We've been in the area for about 3 years. I have been involved in several projects with the Chamber and without the Chamber for White Center to improve the community and the environment that we all live and work in. At this time, I am going to read off a piece of paper, but I do have some information to share about the website. I am on the committee with George, Eileen Cison, who is not able to be here today, and Leticia, who is the owner of Cafe Rosella. We meet every other week at Cafe Rosella around 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. to brainstorm, research, and figure out who and what we are aiming to advertise and market to in the area. But thank you for your interest in the progress of our new White Center website. I would like to address that this is still in the early stages of coming together. We are working with George from Noise Without Sound and her team on creating a large-scale website that will help direct and inform Seattle and the surrounding areas. What White Center's wonderful community offers with diverse businesses in the area. We've spent several hours doing research as to what other communities have and what their websites offer as far as hours, information, history of the business and the business owners, how long they've been in the community. This time we're not necessarily directing our marketing at Rat City. Rat City has just been revitalized in this community. at this time, we have the Rat City Royals Chess Club, which means at Company Bar. We have the Proco Rat Softball Team. We have the Rat City Abate Motorcycle Club. And we also have I have a personal Rat City t-shirt line at my business. And Rat City's it's here right now, and people are using that name. People love it. It's being recognized as Rat City. But we are not marketing this website as Rat City. The visitratcity.com was an alternative domain name we had set aside for this project. The main web address name for this will be visitwhitecenter.com. Anybody is able, if they're able to come and join us, help us, plan and direct where we're aiming this information to. It's a great pleasure to see you all here today. Every other month this meeting gets bigger and bigger, and it's really great to see it. And it's great for all the press as well to be here. Within the last 3 to 5 years, we've had a lot of new coming businesses to the area, and they bring a new customer base. And with that new customer base, we also have their friends and the people that they talk to. We're trying to reach everybody. And when people refer to this area, they're now referring to it as, hey, come up to Rat City and let's go to the Triangle. Hey, come up to Rat City, let's go get some t-shirts. It's not always White City. I see where it's coming from as far as, let's not market this as Rat City. Right now, our under construction page does say, come kick it in Rat City. That's just something we started with, and that will change every other week. We've got a good 200 plus businesses up here in White Center, so every week we plan on switching businesses and putting new pictures up, and this won't be our main page, Kick It in Rat City. I'd like to pass it along to George. She is from Noise Without Sound, and she is our design team, and she will help kind of talk about the structure that we have going on here.
Thank you. I'll come over here since the cameras already seem to be focused over here. So they probably also have their volume set right over here too, so to make it easier. My name is George, or some of you know me as Kathy. It just depends on if I'm working in South Park or if I'm working in White Center, or when you got to know me before my nickname became big, or bigger. Anyway, I'm a resident here in White Center, and sorry, I'm a resident here, and my business is in South Park, and I'm very connected to the community. Our big thing is we have been asked to come and market White Center, the businesses as a whole. The big part of that is looking at all of the aspects of White Center and what's best to bring in new business for White Center. So, just in the preliminary designs, without my copywriter writing copy, I wrote Kick It in Rat City because that's just something I would write. But we do have a copywriter actually writing headlines and copy for the project. I'm not really sure what's all going to come out of it. We're going to try to really aim and focus on our history, of how we came about. We're trying to reclaim the rat a little bit as far as letting people know it's not about scary little rats we eat out of garbage cans, that it's actually a historical thing with our regional Army training facility type name that we've had here. But it also can have a fun spin and a fun connotation for the new, a lot of new businesses that attract, more hipster kind of people, and the way that we're really moving in our community. We're not trying to push anybody out or anything. For several years now, we've been incorporating this great little Asian year of the rat. It's just it's a little silhouette with a colorful thing that's pulled off of the Asian flair. I'm hoping that someday when we finally get to the year of the rat, we can really have a big celebration embracing the year of the rat in Rat City. But that's the community's response on that. Anyway, so far what we've been doing the last couple of weeks is we've been going out and taking photographs of businesses, and we've got, I don't have the latest count because we got done about 7:30 last night, but I think we're at about 70 businesses that we photographed, and I think I maybe have 4 businesses who have asked not to participate in the website out of, actually we've contacted more than the 70 businesses, but so far I've gotten about 4 businesses. Some of them is a language barrier, and we think that once we actually explain what it is, there's a lot of people who think there's going to be a hidden bill behind it. So once we kind of explain that to them, they've been super thrilled. We're getting some people who never wanted to be photographed are actually stepping up and wanting to be photographed. We're getting a lot of Somalian business owners who are actually wanting to be photographed, which I think is awesome, because we haven't really had that a whole lot before. Anyways, we're going to feature each business. We have Soka, who works part-time at the CDA. I've hired him in the summer now to be able to go around with the computer, and he's going to enter all of the business information. He's just going to go door to door and collect all the business information. We figured roughly, we've never had a really great count on our number of businesses, but roughly we figure we have about 250 businesses. We'll know more toward the end of the summer. When we get that all calculated up, we'll give you a lot bigger number of what that really looks like. We're just kind of guessing that that's about what it is, based on some of the area that we already produced and collected information on this. And we're going through and updating this, making sure that this is correct information, and he'll be actually coming in okaying everything with you guys. We don't have a huge budget to actually do big stories on each of the businesses, like the profiles we've been doing with the Healthy Food Here grocery stores, but we've set up questions and things that can kind of get a flair for the businesses, and we'll do that at first. Like different questions for people who don't feel as safe about it, maybe like, how long has your business been in existence, or how many grandkids do you have, or something that gives it a little bit more personal. We're trying to collect some data just on where all of our diversity comes from, and that doesn't necessarily have to appear on the website, but as a working information for the CDA and for the Chamber and for future grants to be able to really collect where we're all from. Even if we're from European countries, we're collecting that information as well, just so we can really show the big diversity of our community. Anyway, so we've got probably about 70 businesses photographed so far. We've started in the busiest little section over here, and we're trying to slowly go through. Some businesses are really quick, and some businesses it just takes a little longer to get things working. But so be patient. We're not going to leave out anybody unless you've asked us specifically not to participate, not to have your business featured. And if you even change your mind, you're willing, we'll gladly come back and make sure that we make time for that. We have a great photographer who's been Ryan Constoli, who's donated a lot of his time for the community. And I think that's about it. So anyway.
Is it your intention to feature one business per, how would that rotate all those businesses on the website?
So we're going to do an actual business directory, and we're going to have it broken down into categories. A little bit more broken down than the business directory has been. And the real, and business directories get outdated right away. This is so outdated already, just with businesses come and gone. But we're going to have it broken down into 5 categories, basically, where we have eat, which will be all, like restaurants, coffee shops, bakeries, that sort of thing. Play, which are nightclubs, bars, parks, different recreational, like the skate rink, that kind of thing. But we're even going to feature our parks, our local parks, the Frisbee Park, Disc Park or whatever, and Steve Cox, because all of those things make up our community. We're going to have shop, which will be all of the retail organizations and stores, and we have little categories based off that: fashion, clothing, shoes, groceries, that sort of thing. Then we have a service category, and that'll break down into financial services and medical, dental. There was some question about our dispensaries, and I think that's medical marijuana, so that's going to go into the medical category. And I've been questioned about that a couple times. And then we're actually gonna do the nonprofit organizations as well. So we have a organization category. So we're also hoping to go into all of our nonprofit organizations and actually set up listings for them as well. Because we have a lot of great family services, a lot of low-income housing units, a lot of great organizations here that we'd like to really say that they're every bit as part of our community as well. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
There is an opt-out option for all photography and information on the website. We would love to put everybody's information, like she said, this community is who we are. We are who we are because we're all here. So if you don't want to be featured in the website as far as your name, your business name, and your photo, we can make that happen, but it'd be great to have everybody there, even if we don't have personal photos. So that's
But
really
a
also.
lot of times we have been getting some people who don't want their photo taken because they're shy of the camera or something. So in those points, and we're really trying to mix it up. It's not really here's a picture of our staff. We're trying to really have more of an editorial type look to our photography so that it's kind of warm and inviting. And if you don't want your actual picture taken, which sometimes we think that that might not be a stronger picture anyway, we're going in and we're sort of case by case in each business, sort of assessing what we think would be the strongest story to be told in this one particular image. So we're sort of assessing that. And if people don't want to participate, we're really looking at your product. There's a hand over here.
Yeah, back to the Rap City deal, I feel.
Russ, Russ, can we hold that for just a second? There's a couple of other things I appreciate that you want to share, and you'll have an opportunity to share, okay? What I want to do, before we get to that, because that's going to be that's the important conversation here. Mikkel, I wanted to give you a chance to say, if you wanted to say anything from the CDA's perspective, you're a partner in this process.
Right before he starts, can I also just say that our goal is to have the website up. We're working on it. We have a lot of stuff going on in the background that you guys can't see yet. All the code work is happening and collection of stuff. Our goal is to have part of the website launched for the Jubilee Days, which will be the basic main part of the website, not the business directory. And then our goal is really, there's a lot of work involved with uploading photographs and collecting all the information. So our goal is to launch that at the end of the summer so that all the business directories, maps, and all that stuff goes live at the end of the summer. I'm not giving a better firmer date than that, but end of summer.
Hang on, just one thing. The whole reason that we started down this path was to bring people together. It can oftentimes be a very short jump from apathy to antipathy. And the idea is that we all come together and find our commonalities, not all come together and find our one difference.
And Mac is the vice president of the chamber, and owns Mac's Triangle Pub across the street. Okay, can you hold that?
Yeah.
Okay. Mikkel, did you want to share anything from the CDA?
Yeah, my name is Mikkel Davila. I'm the Neighborhood Revitalization Program Manager at the Community Development Association here in White Center. Just some history on this project. I think branding the neighborhood has kind of been something that the CDA has been trying to work on for a long time. I think in 2009 we started a marketing committee before I was on board with a professional marketing firm and some community voice in the neighborhood to come up with the Growing a Global Village brand. And so just building off of that is in 2012 the Chamber and the CDA partnered on a grant to get money for a website. And really the key component in this website from the CDA's perspective is to incorporate the branding that we've built on from years past, which is Growing the Global Village. In terms of other branding or subtones in branding that's coming about, one of the things from the CDA and all of our lines of business is really to just get the community voice, have everybody give good input, and see really where the majority of the community wants to go, and then we move forward in that direction. So we're just, like Max said, trying to bring people together and hear what everybody has to say about the website. So I think the website is a really great opportunity. I mean, I think it's expensive, and we were fortunate to get the grant together with the chamber, and the fact that George is doing on it, or Noise Without Sound is doing it, is I think really great, so that we can incorporate some of the Growing Global Village stuff that Noise Without Sound did as well. But I think it's a great thing for our community and the next step in marketing this community and branding this community. So.
Thank you, Mikkel. And then finally, I noticed that Justin and Jesse are here. they have a site called myratcity.com, and it's been out for about a month. You guys want to speak about that? You guys want to share any thoughts about your strategy and your thoughts, just so we can get that out on the table as well?
Yeah, we started this. I mean, this is Rat City. It's White Center. We're not going to change it into Wallingford. We just assumed that we would kind of embrace that we live in kind of a quirky neighborhood. That and the Rat City Roller Girls put about $250,000 a year in advertising Rat City. So we're just going to ride the coattails of that. So we started this organization because we can advertise as a group a lot cheaper than we could individually. And so, yeah, did the...
Yeah, I mean, I think we share the same goal as what the Chamber and the CDA is. We came together with a singular focus to attract business to the White Center Business Board. And this came together pretty organically because we see a lot of each other. We talk about our intentions with our businesses and how things are going, and we just check in with each other, and this just sort of came to be based on this conversation.
And your site has, I think, 6 or 7 businesses that are listed and highlighted in it, right?
Right, and that was just the beginning because we wanted to start simple and sort of start developing our ideas as a small group, sort of similar to what Mac was saying. So it can become cumbersome if you invite everybody to try to focus on a singular idea. So I think what our intention is to not be exclusive in any way, but just to build it, start small, and just build from there.
That's great, Jesse. Thank you for that. Thank you, Justin. Okay, and then finally, I think, okay, so the way to start this conversation is I just want to remind everybody we're sharing respectful perspective here. Everybody has a different view. That's the great gift of human character. We all see things maybe a little differently than everybody standing next to us. We want to invite everybody's participation. And so I wanted to start with Alan. Alan, would you come on up here? Alan Homestead is with Vision Source Eye Care, and you have been in the White Center community for how long?
30 years.
30 years. He's been in business here. And he called me and asked me if that he was concerned because we had the introductory flyer that was going out to the to engage the community. We had 5 words. Kick It in Rat City was the only reference to Rat City in the flyer. But this was handed out basically as part of the process of engaging the business owners so that we can start taking photographs and begin the conversation. And he called me, I think, last Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday and said that he was concerned about this. And like a good organizer of volunteer efforts, the first thing I said to him was, "You're on the committee. We're glad you're going to be there at the next meetings every 2 weeks from now on." And said that by no means are we anywhere, none of this is in stone. The idea is that we're just trying to facilitate a conversation, and we want to hear from you. And that was the invitation. So, Alan, I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you. I have to apologize to Mark and the Chamber because I have not been an active member for many years. And so when this initiative came across my desk or in my office last week, it was the first I heard about the website and all the associated icons associated with it. So I'm just learning some more today about the whole thing, but I do have a reaction to what I learned, and my purpose today is to share that opinion, also to share with you some information that I've gathered from the White Center community, and to make a request of the White Center Chamber of Commerce. It's good to see enthusiasm and willingness and creativity in the promotion of White Center. And it's happy news to hear of this visitwhitecenter.com website. And a recent flyer, the flyer that I received, where were I from the promoters regarding a photo shoot was very interesting, and I was happy to see that there was something being done. However, the flyer also says that it's linked to visitratcity.com, and that was a surprise last week. Rat City is an unflattering term pasted on White Center, and yet here the name is promoted. Have rats become cool? I thought to myself. On the Visit White Center website are nicely laid out photos. Photos of food, of the community, a business owner, family at a pizza restaurant. It's very creative, colors are very nice. And at the bottom is a nice phrase, which is behind on this thing here. Yeah. White Center. White Center, growing a global village. I think that's very nice. But at the top of the website is Kick It in Rat City, with a drawing of a rat. Signing up for this website was very tempting, but it's difficult for me to allow my business to be associated with rats. What are associated with rats? Sickness, sewer, poverty, disease, and garbage. Now, supporters, I've heard, want to reclaim Rat City. Is there anything worth reclaiming about rats? Rats have had a negative connotation for thousands of years. Can a website change that? If the driving force of this effort is to attract new business to White Center, including business owners and customers, is a rat our best symbol? Is this our finest effort? Are business owners and residents of White Center proud of being known as Rat City? Given the choice of doing business in 3 communities, West Seattle, Burien, and White Center, would you, as a newcomer to this area, choose to do business in a community that promotes itself as associated with rats? Is it old-fashioned to market a business zone using concepts suggesting cleanliness, safety, and family friendliness? An informal survey, I attended a meeting of the North Highline Unincorporated Area Council, which meets periodically. A survey that I did on that during that meeting showed that 100% believe Rat City is a bad idea. It could be risky for me to come out in opposition to Rat City in this moniker, because those who have conceived this idea have put a lot of work in this. And criticism could stifle their enthusiasm, I hope it doesn't. But I hope that this marketing effort, this ship, will maintain its speed and energy, but with a different message. I encourage everyone to voice their opinion, please, to Mark, to the CDA, because those are the partners in this initiative. I also did a personal walk-around kind of discussion with the business owners at White Center. And this was done over the past couple of days. I expressed my opinion and I asked opinions of those who I met. And I spoke with 57 people in the community, which was a combination of business owners, business managers, and employees of the community. From my impression, there were 2 supporters of the Rat City concept. There were 11 who were fairly neutral in their reaction, and there were 44, or 77%, who were opposed to the Rat City concept. I did a very informal survey in my own personal business of people and just simply asked, do you support or oppose the use of Rat City as the best way to portray the White Center community? And I left this on the front counter of my business, and they all oppose. So I'm concerned that this is somehow thought of or believed to be supported by the community, where I have determined, at least personally, that it's not by a majority. And I'm requesting that the chamber make a determination, that the White Center Chamber of Commerce make a determination of whether or not it supports Rat City and the rat icon in reference to White Center and any chamber-associated projects, websites, advertisements, festivals, or other promotions so that the chamber's viewpoint is clear to its chamber members, the White Center community, and the White Center residents.
I just have a question, Mayor. I think from the people I've talked to, like I have the exact opposite of what you did. Like on Facebook and a lot of the blogs, a lot of people were totally for it. Was excited about Rat City, and I think it's kind of a generational thing. And like I talked to the business owners around me, a lot of them are Asian, and in Asian societies, it's a good luck symbol. And I don't know why we have to be either or. I think there's multiple people that we market to. And somebody that's in my age group and my target audience is 28 to 35, they're gonna love Rat City. And I can understand my parents aren't gonna feel the same way about it, So I don't think we have to drop one to support the other. I think there's definitely some way that we can, market to two different people. I'm not saying change the signs.
More than two different.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's no reason that we have to change the signs when you drive into the neighborhood. So I think it would be cool.
So is anyone keeping tabs on the poll that's on the White Center blog this morning? Pro and con the Rat City concept? It was running in favor of the Rat City concept about 8-1 last time I checked
Yes,
around.
that all came out yesterday morning, so I don't press that poll one little bit.
Why do you say that?
When I looked at it yesterday morning, it was like 67 for and 7 against, something like that. Today it's only changed a little bit, and I check these websites at least once a day, and I know the website's not very heavily active.
Okay, so there were 80 people responding when I looked, and of that, there was about an 86% in favor, 13%. Well, I mean, that's your personal opinion. That's not my opinion, but I just wanted to say to the doctor here that there are opposing viewpoints to what you found, and maybe it's just people that look at the blog, maybe it's not your average White Center businessman, but, and agreed, the demographic is a big thing here. I think the younger generation is definitely more attuned to something like Rat City. I'm not in that young generation, but I'm attuned to it. I'm for it. So anyway, we're never probably going to have a complete agreement on this. So I think, asking the chamber to take a stand, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I would, I think there's room for both. And maybe that's all we're going to get out of this meeting is that there's room for more than one opinion.
Don?
I've been in White Center 35, 40 years. I run a service business where I'm working on vehicles that are coming from outside the area. And I've always had to fight against the White Center reputation that it's had over all these years. And there were times when they said, well, I can't bring a car into White Center. It's too dangerous. Well, adding a rat to it is not going to help anything. We'll be fighting that. And I'm established. I don't have to worry about it. And I'm old. So I'll be gone before long. But to bring in a rat and say this is our symbol, no, I can't agree with that at all.
One thing was mentioned real quickly that the rat was a dirty negative symbol or whatever, but also my take on it is that the rat actually in Rat City was for the Regional Army Training Facility. And I am sorry that if anybody thinks that our military or whatever is a negative
Nobody remembers that, Cap.
Well,
It is the rat.
We have, and just to add though, the image of the rat in the corner, that component of it has been on banners in White Center for well over a year. That colorful little creature. Now maybe folks didn't know it was a rat, but it's been out there flapping in the wind for over a year.
it's been in our business attraction plan for the business district and many places, so.
Russ?
Well, Mark knows me, Mark is that long ways, but,
I guess we have that.
I'm a 5-time president of the chamber, 5-time president of North Highland Incorporated Council. I lived in White Center 65 years. I worked in White Center for 42 years. So, I've been here all my life. And I got to speak for some past chambers. And people like me have passed the torch on to Mark. I'm sure not gonna get in the middle of the job he's doing and his board is doing. But for people like Mickey Crowd, who passed away a few months ago, and past chambers, we spent tons and tons and tons of time over the years trying to change the Rat City image. In fact, we even went so far in Jubilee days, we banned a T-shirt being sold that said Rat City on it. And we had a lot of controversy over that. We even met with, when the roller derby team started up, we met with them on the concept that they were gonna call themselves the Rat City group there. Times change, I guess, but we, the past chambers and the council have worked for years and years to try to change the image of Rat City so people, and now I'm not so involved, in this area anymore. When I talk to people and they say, where are you from, where you work, where you're born, I say White Center, and they say, oh, Rat City. My only suggestion, again, if you're gonna go this route and start saying Rat City, and you just said it, let the, get out the word, and we did a very poor job. We tried this years ago, about 15, 20 years, we tried to get the word out on what Rat City stood for. And we did a very poor job, quite honestly, of doing that, because nobody knows what RAT stands for. If you're gonna go that route, I suggest your number one priority is to get the word out of what RAT stands for, military, and I even have a hard time remembering that. And I've been here all my life, but the military deal, and that's where the Rat City came from. So if you're gonna stay with that concept, I would promote that so people know what that means. You go outside of White Center, well, I bet, 90% of the people in this room right now doesn't know what RAT stands for. You just told them, but before that, they didn't know. You go outside the White Center area, and you try to explain to people, it's not a rat that they're calling Rat City, it's a military division that was stationed out in that area, and that's where that name came from, but nobody knows that.
R period, A period, T period.
Right.
What was your name, sir?
Russ Pritchard?
Russ, I'd like to follow up on what he said. As far as this website, we do have several pages going on. We will have the business directory that will showcase each and every business, nonprofit, and organization in the area, including an organization like Tony, such as the PAL. We will also have a page that has history of the Chamber of Commerce, all the way back as far as we can remember. We have a cabin over by the log cabin that has tons of documents, history, paperwork, even Jubilee Day information that we are going to feed onto this website. And I think it's a great idea that you said, like you said, to get what it really means out. And on our White Center history page, we will make it known that we are going to try and reclaim back Rat City and what the Rat City really stands for, and not that it is rodents, filth, sewers, and all of that.
Well, if you take that concept and turn it around, you're going to use it, that can be a very positive spin for the area, because that was a very positive division that started here. So if you can take that spin and really work on that, it could be a positive deal. People would realize that was a military deal, and that's where it got its start, was in White Center.
I think there's a reinforcement of the opposite. You're using the rat symbol and calling it Rat City. Well, what else are people going to think if they see the rat symbol and call it Rat City? And yet you're trying to say, well, no, it doesn't mean rat, but here's the rat. That seems like just the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish.
I would just like to make sure that the information about our history is known, not exactly trying to make an excuse for what the mascot is now and who people think it is, but just, make sure people do know. Even if we don't go with the Rat City on the website, or we do, we will have informational pages on this website regarding White Center, the Chamber, and Jubilee Days on this website.
Tony?
I'd like to make comment on what you said. Matter of fact, I wrote on my sheet here, R period, A period, T period. I think if you use that for Rat City, people are more likely going to read about the history. They're going to be curious what's that stand for instead of RAT.
Correct.
Great.
Well, I think it's important because what I'm hearing about is the people that aren't really comfortable with rat. What I'm getting in my head, what I think what's in their head is like, you're going to use a picture of a dirty little rat in an alley. And that's probably not going to be the case altogether. Patrick and I were talking about an hour ago about this, And about, I guess it's gotta be 80 plus years ago, Walt Disney came up with a character that was a mouse. Mice didn't have a really good reputation either, but he marketed it and created something that now is an international icon. So it's all in how you approach it. When Pacific Rim Brewing was operating, they had a Rat City IPA, and they didn't use a scraggly rat. They had this little dapper guy with a top hat and a cane, and it was a really great logo, a really great concept. So I think try to, for those of you that are having this negative part of it, it's not going to be a scraggly rat. White Center's a great place, and I think the icon should reflect that. But I really like the idea because it's different. Like Justin pointed out, I don't want to be like Wallingford. I don't want to be like Burien. I want to have my own identity as a member of this community. I don't want to be like anybody else. I think to take this ball and run with it is a great idea. It puts us on the map.
Darren?
As one of probably the only outsiders in here, I grew up in Shoreline, North Seattle, so I agree with Don Malo, you guys.
With who?
Don Malo.
Which one is he?
Don, over the corner.
Oh,
It's probably a bad
Luckily, I don't own a
idea.
restaurant or an ice cream parlor, because advertising that I've got rats around here probably wouldn't help my business.
Jesse?
I think Don and Russ both brought up interesting points. Don said that, and I appreciate that you guys have done business here for all these decades, but Don said, for 30 years he had to fight the idea that White Center had its own negative connotations and to convince people to come here. And Russ said that they've tried for years to try to abandon the Rat City moniker and sort of as an identifying characteristic of the neighborhood. But these things are all changing. The Rat City didn't go away, so I think there's an opportunity to embrace it and to make it something positive. And I think Kathy did a tremendous job with the rat icon on the page, and it's not a dirty building.
well, it's all about branding, as I think we all know here. Branding is sort of everything these days. And what does clean, safe, and appropriate do for White Center? Clean, safe, and appropriate. To me, that's not an interesting brand. I mean, just take it down to personal opinion. White and center are just not that compelling to me. But, as far as brands go, and the more controversial a brand is, sometimes the more attention it's going to get. You got to think about that, too.
Thank you. Frank?
Alan came in my office the other day, and we talked for a few minutes, and I had to agree with all his points. But I keep an open mind, so everyone I talked to that was older said Rat City's a bad idea. Everyone I talked to that's younger thought it was a great idea. Who do we want to attract? I mean, all of us in here have to agree that we need more business here, right? What is going to bring people here? Is Rat City, if it's done right? So one of my friends said, if it's done right and it attracts people, go with it. He sold me on it. That's my answer.
Yes.
I think that, I haven't decided what I like. I agree with Justin's perception that there's something really great about the quirkiness of White Center. I love the image of the rat that's on there is pretty and it's cool. I'd like that on the front of a t-shirt. But I know that every time that I have run into the phrase Rat City, you have to explain it to someone. And if you have to explain it to someone because you're overcoming something negative generally, then that's not such a great branding opportunity. I like it, I don't know if it's the option of having Justin's website or that group's website continue, but have the chamber website have the cool little icon, but not necessarily have the words Rat City on the front page of it. I don't remember if you said you were keeping that there or not, because you do have to explain it. The first time that even the Rat City Roller Girls was explained to me as a newcomer in the Seattle area, you're overcoming something that's slightly negative to get to the really cool, quirky part, which is, I think, one of the things that I love about White Center. I also love the not so centered, not so white brand. I think that's a great brand for White Center. And I also think that bringing back the real image, when you mentioned that, I didn't remember that at all. And suddenly I felt bad. And I don't want to feel bad. I want this to be something that's really great about White Center. And if you could have both, can you have the quirky website keep going that you link to through the chamber website? But I think it's going to keep going because it's successful and it's running.
In the organization
With
section.
a number of other websites as well. Anything that is telling the story about White Center needs be part of our connection. I mean, kind of the whole.
That's the whole purpose of it.
Yeah. Dennis?
Well, I'm somebody that grew up here for almost all my life and has lived here too. And I can tell you right now that whether you call yourself Rat City or White Center, they both have bad connotations. I mean, you can call yourself Paradise Cove if you want. But when people find out where your business is, they're going to have a question mark. Now, as far as branding goes, I think she's right. You know, Fremont's got its Statue of Lenin, which attracts tourists and everybody else, but has negative connotations. You got trolls under bridges, you got all other forms of branding that have not so subtle or real happy-go-lucky types of themes to them. It's how you treat it and how people respond to it that's going to be the real kicker here. I don't think anybody should doubt that we have a large Asian community now. And to them, a rat is not a bad connotation. So take what your target's going to be and run with it. But remember this, it doesn't matter what you call yourself, when people find out where you are, you're going to have to overcome that negative connotation anyway.
Well, Columbia City used to be considered Skid Row almost, and now look at it. You know, it's got a fantastic reputation in the city.
I would.
Can I introduce yourself?
Stan Bradley, Stan Snow. In the White Center JC, we almost got thrown out of the JC by the chamber because we put a Volkswagen as a rat in a parade.
Is there a photo of that?
That's about 45 years ago. So that'll tell you it's been a battle that's been going forever.
Still going on. Yes.
I am an outsider. Live in Magnolia, so next door to Fremont, and I love that whole Fremont connection because if you look at Fremont as a business community, it has taken its quirkiness and marketed that quite successfully. And if you look at the Fremont fair that goes on there every Sunday, the amount of business that they get into that community because they've embraced that quirkiness. And I'll tell you something else. This was the first time I've been in White Center when I took this job with Pal back in November. I hadn't been to White Center since I was a teenager, and I'm 54. This ain't your mama's White Center anymore. It is a different community today. And the more that you spend time in this community, the more you recognize this is the next Columbia Center, or Columbia City. This could be the next Fremont. And I think the more creative you are in marketing all of this fabulous diversity that you have going on here, I think White Center's poised, just an outsider.
Yeah. Be the next international district.
Outsider, I'm telling you, there's some stuff going on here that's good.
I say something, I didn't forget about the rat. Because if you start thinking about animals and this and that, you know, some of the areas or some of the countries, the lizards, the snakes, and we should focus on about the community and the businesses. I have been here 17 years, and I have so many negative things about White Center. And here we are, you know, the reason we opened here the business is because this was the less expensive area. I was gonna do it in Columbian City at that time, but Beacon Hill, more money. I didn't have no money, but I think this business had attracted many different communities from far away, even from Kirkland, Bellevue. I have people coming here and to buy the cake from far away, because we offer good products. And if you like the product, you go and find it, even in the Rat City.
I just think, and I'm really sorry to the CDA to say this, but Rat City is a lot easier to like explain and remember than growing a global village, because I cannot remember that even though I see it every day unless I'm reading it. I could not.
It's a tired phrase. Global Village.
Well, it's brand new, and I know you guys put a ton of effort into it.
We can't change the world, that's a little bit of it. I appreciate the point. Any other, we have to close this out, we're not done. Any other questions? Yes?
Yeah, it's not a question, it's more of a statement. One, I really agree with whoever said that the Regional Army Training thing, that is what RAT actually stands for. That has to be promoted somewhere, even with the icon of the RAT, you have to explain where that name comes from. I think it's gonna be, yeah, I guess people have negative connotations about rats. I don't personally get that. Rats are cool, I think. And I do see how it really isn't, it's very interesting to watch the room in generational lines. I mean, I'm not young, but I'm not old either, and for me, to be in an area where the neighborhood's kind of got like a hipper theme attached to it, like Rat City, that's more motivating to me to have a business down here. I've had people that have never been down here, I tell them where I live, they're like, well, that's a pretty racist name for a town. Like, I mean, White Center, come on. I mean, like, how Aryan is that? So, I mean, that has a really negative, to me, and people I've talked to before, also has a really negative connotation. For somebody to be so, like, mortified as something like a rat, which is so innocuous, I just don't understand. But, like, to me, when you're going into that, of course, it's not a racist area. There's 8,000 different cultures in this wonderful area. You know that if you live here, if you've been down here. Yeah, I don't see how rat has any more negative connotation than white.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah, just one follow-up comment. I think Don Malo and some of our older established businessmen are exactly right. And that is that what's going to sell or enhance businesses is not what you call this place. It's making it safe for people to come here and do business. That's what needs to be focused on, and not whatever funny-looking mascot you get.
Well, I disagree. I think you gotta go forward from there. I don't think you can sit around waiting for this place to be safe. I think it becomes safe as we attract younger, growing, vital businesses, and those people that those businesses attract. So, I don't think we can sit around and wait for this place.
Okay, and so on that note,
I'd like to say
we have-
that I'm old and I'm for Rat City. I think it's a
Okay, so on that note, the important thing is, and really what 99.9% of this story is about a sincere, concerted effort by a whole bunch of volunteers who are part of this community trying to figure out how to promote this. And they put lots of hours, lots of time into trying to figure out how to tell our great story. And the key for us is that I'm gonna call the board together and have a conversation. But the important thing is, don't let it, this conversation is not over by any means. It's really, we have an enormous amount of good work that we're doing, and we're gonna continue to do that good work. And at a point where we have to click it up and broadcast it to the world is when we need to start making some of the decisions about exactly how we shape the message. The key is we're trying to tell the story of a whole bunch of businesses here and tell the great stuff that they have and the great services that they provide, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, I see our goal as making this a destination neighborhood. I'm sorry, it's greater than the sum of its businesses. It's a destination neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Eduardo, since you have your hand up.
Well, I was just counting the restaurants part, and there were 39 of them, and from just kind of knowing them, at least 27 of them are minority-based owned. And I don't see, we have such a large Asian population, I didn't see anyone Asian in here.
Oh, excuse me. Pardon me.
Someone here? Oh, look, there you go. See? But that's the point. It's not very representative of a lot of the businesses that are here. But I guess the other part is kind of, there's going to be the actual business owners, and then we're trying to bring people for the businesses. So I'm sure that both sides are going to have, it's going to be a little difficult to get some of the businesses to understand that we're trying to brand the community in a way to attract more business for you, especially when, my dad owns a taco truck and he doesn't want to know that there's little rats around, but at the same time, it's aside from what the little business is, it's also, I guess, trying to appeal to folks for the small businesses, and so I don't know, that's gonna be a little tricky to, small businesses don't always know a lot about branding and what's the best for what they need. Right? So maybe a poll is gonna, I'll suggest, like what a poll for the small businesses, how they felt about the Rat City being connected, and then a poll for just general, like she's doing with the website, and see how those compare.
I think one thing we all just need to focus on is whether we call it Rat City or not, everybody else is still going to call it that. They've spent over 40 years trying to get rid of it. Why not put our own positive spin on it so that they know what it really means? Because whether we want people to or not, that's what they're going to call it.
And that brings up communication between people and sharing ideas and history and understanding where it was and what it used to mean and where it can go, you know, and being able to actually have that communication dialogue. If you have to explain what Rat City means to somebody, awesome. Any press is bad, any press is good press in a way. And if you can, you know, invite people and explain things to people, then that creates bridges.
Yes?
I have one comment. The rat image that is on this, I realize that it's Asian-based or wherever it came from. My problem is this denotes a rat. If Rat City doesn't want to be denoted as Rat City, we need to find a different character that promotes it as a fun place to be, not a rat. I grew up here, I've been here 44 years. I personally don't like this rat. I would much rather see a Mickey Mouse on it. You know, something happy, waving.
Different species.
Exactly, a different species, being that we are White Center.
Okay. And so finally, we're going to call a meeting. We're going to close this out. Thanks everybody for coming. And now here's the pitch. We've got this great committee doing great work. Brittany would love to have more involvement from the community. So all you have to do is pay your chamber dues. Anybody's welcome to join the chamber and get on the committee and participate in the conversation.
Please
Okay?
feel free to
We
send
aren't
me
done here.
emails.
We just started this baby step. We're just beginning this process. Get involved. And we're really impressed that all of you came out and gave and shared your perspective.